hello. Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to you, wherever you are, whatever time it is when you listen to this. Welcome to my channel. All right, y'all. So this is gonna be the reading for Life Path 33. I already started it, um, but the phone, a whole bunch of stuff, it like disconnected, rebooted, and all this other stuff. So in short, um, we do have a beginning portion for it already. All right, I'm gonna get into that after I explain this. Part one: in order to calculate your life path, you need to add up all the numbers to your birthday. All right, then you reduce it down to one number if it's between 1 through 9. If it's a master number, which is 11, 22, or 33, sometimes 44, but we don't get those as much any longer. But if you get a master number, then you don't reduce it down. All right, so that's that part. Next part, during the life path readings, we don't necessarily acknowledge, unless it's like really calling out to us, right? The different zodiac signs. We just look at and explore what it is that will be going on within that particular card or what it stands for or represents. All right, so it's that part. The other thing, I feel the need to identify those who are literal when you may need to be figurative in that regard. I'm thinking that's what that really boils down to. And in addition to that, let me see what else. The life path with the life path readings. Take notes as necessary. What we'll be doing is exploring what it is that'll be going on with you in the current moment, right? And some different objectives, so to speak, that you would need to approach and review. All right. Yeah, I'm speaking a lot of legal terms right now. Okay, I just heard. Don't forget to tell us about your day. Sure. Uh, real quick, it ain't been too much nothing going on, right? But I'll get into that. I'll do another video on that. I'm not gonna do that right now. Now outside of that though, right? We got judgment, right? In Life Path 33, being a master teacher, what it is that comes into place with different judgments and a lot of past life situations. Not necessarily past life situations, but more so those who have passed away and different messages it is that they will have for us. All right. And what it is to have an offer and what goes on over the course of a year. Oop. And in the awareness of the truth of shifting one's thoughts, shifting their spirit, there being this attitude of Six of Swords with the movement that comes within winning at all costs. And then there being this pause or healing, pause, stop, healing. Something else that I'm hearing is what it is that goes on with the offer, with this Ace of Pentacles and this Ace of Swords, right? Within the offers that come over a course of time. Because what this is giving is the breakdown of the Ten of Swords. And how the Ten of Swords are the betrayal and things of that nature. Yeah, because what I'm getting from it is what it is that will constitute as betrayals. That's one of them. The other part of it, yeah, and the mastery, right, of yourself, one knows that it's best you only accommodate those who would meet you halfway. You don't make a person come the whole way. Yeah, it's that whole 60-40, yeah, the 80-20 rules. Since we're talking about different commitments, right? Even in the business aspect, right? You know, you'll have the whole 80-20 aspect. You'll be bitching about 20%, but 80% of the shit is covered. And 100%, right? Now, me personally, I believe 100% in any every relationship. Of it that'll come with it is within there being these passed on loved ones and not having a passionate new beginning, right? But this is the Alchemist Code, so Cove. So I'll be letting you guys know about what it is that comes into place with what it is that will be coming in, right? But the healing ending of what it is that would have been nurtured and thought about being financially abusive and not having a passion new beginning within that financial abuse. That's that part. The other portion of it will be about a passed over loved one not having a passionate new beginning. And then last but not least, how it is you heal from death and grieving. Yeah, and with this whole pinnacle, what is given is the seed of truth of one winning at all costs and healing. Ensure what it is to heal at any cost and what it means to heal at any cost or by any means. It's given the whole Malcolm X by any means necessary. And yeah, and when the any means necessary would require for you to heal, require for you to take care of some stuff on the mental aspect. That's that portion. The other part of it, right? Yeah, within this whole, y'all know I'm not going because we in the master teacher aspect. You know we're not gonna fly by the whole candle magic aspect or the candle workings that'll come into place with one's not only the financial abuse, but when you're dealing with a King of Pentacles that does candle magic, right? And not being a woman, right? Healing the aspect of not being a man, but being a woman, right? And what it is to be a woman, what it is, yeah, that feminine essence and that feminine aspect last week. Yeah, and what happens when you're a female that carries a strap and the robberies that come with one not discussing, the strategy that comes into place with one not talking, not discussing things. Yeah, here's the deal. A lot of people, and this be one of the things that be kind of boggling my mind. A lot of people like to depend on telepathic communication who aren't at that level where they have even anchored the communication aspect, right? Yeah, it's one of the games that gets played a whole lot in the spiritual community and what gets a lot of people, for lack of a better phrasing, fucked up. Because you're trying to play in somebody's mind when you don't even have a good idea what you think and what's in your shadows. Before you can do any type of telepathic work, so to speak, you have to be able to, first and foremost, be at the correct vibration. And then, second off, you also have to know to anchor it. And it has to align with what it is you're anchoring. Yeah, so sending out the false pretenses and then in the reality of it is something completely different. Yeah, it's bullshit. Y'all know that. Y'all know that. Quit playing. A lot of this, yeah, the whole mental magic and the mental works and mental workings that come into place with varying things as one would heal what they would constitute as the financial abuse, and that would cause for one not having a passionate new beginning due to there being the whole robbery aspect, uh, robberies, strategies over the course of a week, uh, and with in the alchemical aspect, it'll be about different discussions about a passionate new beginning. So 33s, pay attention to that. The other thing that I feel preempted to say, always check for yourself. Don't depend on somebody else to do it for you because people make mistakes. Yeah, people make mistakes. And when you're around certain essences and energies, yeah, even if you get it right on a continuous basis, what they like to do is just to prove you wrong. That's what their seed of truth is. Just to prove you wrong, they'll do mental magic on you for you to be confused and all this other old craziness, right? Or so that you won't be able to speak and all that, right? So it's that part. The other thing is be careful what it is you allow to come out of your mouth. Because I've had a person tell me don't talk to them and I didn't. Anytime after that. Yeah, that's the problem that comes in place with the power of words. You want a person to chase up after you and shit, but then you don't talk to them. Or yeah, and then you tell them don't talk to you, but you want them to continuously come around you. Yeah, sure. Don't say shit you don't mean, and be careful what you talk about. That's the lesson that comes into place, and also that's what it is. that's important and imperative that comes within communication. That's that portion. The other portion of it, the strategy that comes with one not having with one not being anxious, and what it is to be anxious, to have anxiety and a passion in the beginning. Yeah, what it's given is how a person would want someone to be toxic. And it'll be about the whole delusional aspect. Some of this stuff was reflected during during Neptune's retrograde, as to who it is that would need to be healed, so to speak, and what it is that would need to be healed in different spiritual connections. Oh my. In different spiritual connections. And that was been something that would have been known. Those are all things that are known. Especially if we're talking about the healing portion and things of that nature. And how a lot of stuff likes to fly off the rip and fly over to. I just heard, how can you determine if a person says something but they don't mean it? One's actions always backs up what they really feel. And what is given is that whole uh which parts is it in the dark zodiac, the lighter version of the dark zodiac, right? It'll be about the torso Taurus, which the gambles and shit like that. And then it'll be about the princess, the angry princess with Virgo. And then it'll be about the blacksmith with Capricorn. Now, each one of them did have their own detrimental end, right? But within each one of them having their own detrimental end, what you want to focus on more so is a Taurus gambling is counter to their stability. And it's a difference between a robbery and a risk and a strategy, right? Within a robbery, that's the theft aspect, of course. The risk, right, uh, would be about the extremes that come into place that could put in jeopardy what goes on with whatever you constitute as stable, right? And then the strategy aspect, that's a calculated risk. That's something completely different. It's something completely different. Yeah, and when a person wants you to continuously show how it is you do things, but they can't live up to that mark, and that's something that's already known, right? Yeah, that'd be the whole like the whole heavy is the head that wears the crown. I was talking about that in one of my other videos, but paying that some attention. The other thing that comes into place with it is what it is that wouldn't be projected, right? What isn't shown, what wouldn't be projected, and what wouldn't constitute as a spiritual connection, but more so as a delusion, and what it is to stand on what's real. Opposed to, yeah, the what it is, the illusions, delusions, standing on the reality of things. Yeah, it'd be about the whole show your face. And show your face, then show your hand, then show your face. No, show your face, then show your hand. And there being this supernatural aspect of one being independent, or as I used to say a lot, the 10th coin, right? And what it is to be that 10th coin and to have an independent spirit in the supernatural aspect. That's where the whole Virgo portion comes into place. Yeah, with the angry princess. Because with the angry princess, what took place in that dynamic was she didn't feel that she was beautiful enough. And within her not feeling she was beautiful enough, she did all these cuts and shit on her, and it killed her, right? And then in the Capricorn aspect, however, that's the more, uh, it's a bit more gruesome in the depiction, but it's talking about the blacksmith and the only blacksmith, and it did happen to be a black male, but it was also an extension and an anchoring aspect to those characters in darker lore that were African American, i.e., Candyman, and how you can only summon them by saying their name ever so many times. Part one, part two is yeah, you don't say certain shit that you can't fucking handle. Basically, is as I started. That's that. The last part of it, yeah, because some people like that's that toxic shit. If you know you fucking up or you know you fucked up and you want to argue, that's just you being toxic for no damn reason. And depending on what your health condition is, you may not be able to withstand what it is you calling yourself talking about. So it said the other part of it, um, with the blacksmith story, basically, yeah, they were executing a lot of blacksmiths that were of different ethnicities, and the way they did it was really, really gruesome. The other thing that was coming to me is Emmett Till. Emmett Till, right? Yeah, and it was on one of the. It was an episode. I can't think of what it is right now, but it was an episode where it basically depicted what would have happened if that child hadn't have withstood what it is that was going on and how their life will be in vain. In short, everybody wants to do the sacrifice shit, but they don't understand what the sacrifice really is and what the sacrifice really means. No one has, yeah, it's the difficulty that comes with a person not having a problem with taking a life. You don't have no problem at all with taking a life, but you want yours. Now, if you're doing it for, certain reasons, because that does happen. When you're doing it for certain reasons, that's a lot, not a little bit, that's a lot bit different. If you have a reason behind it, right? Yeah, because ultimately it will be a part of your past, but depending on what vibration you're trying to go to, you'll have to clear that out before you can even get to the next vibration. That's that part. Is there anything else from here? Yep. Okay. Yeah, because this is gonna be about everything is realistically gonna be about awareness. It's not even is that and what I'm getting from it, it'll be about the whole aspect of the villainy of Pisces essence. In short, check your Pisces placements. Because all this shit is situational, and it'll be about the differentiations that come with and the toxic nature that comes with Pisces and Gemini essence. Yeah, in short, what it is they know and and what it is that will go on with the communications in regards to different spiritual connections and different acknowledgments. Now, because the person that I'm seeing in my head right now, yeah, the person that I'm seeing in my head right now it's a it wouldn't necessarily be a coworker or pause. I heard co-conspirator. Oh, okay. Well, when it's all said and done, all done said, that's a lot. So yeah, there's that. And then the world that one created for spiritual creation, and there being and it being the path of judgment, and their overall essence of one not celebrating, and it's giving that whole youth warrior sage not being a part of a third party, right? Yeah, not having a partnership, not working together, whatever, what have you. And it will be given in that regard in the alchemical portion with different judgments. It is, yeah, in short, what it's given is what should be talked about versus what shouldn't be talked about. Yeah, if you're gonna tell it all. Don't tell half the shit. Tell everything. Don't, yeah, because what I notice happens a lot is people demand that it come out in a reading, and it's one of those most motherfuckers. Yeah, they're not even on the right vibration, and I think the word I want to say is diversion, something like that. But they wanted to come out in a reading, but they can't handle it on a spiritual aspect. The other thing that comes into place with the master teacher aspect, as we all know, you can't expect for everybody to have a healthy understanding of what a spiritual connection is, especially when you're dealing with the whole angry princess aspect. And versus, it'll be like the angry princess versus the jackal. So if you're looking at different things inside yourself, right? To address, yeah, in your darker portions, you're gonna have to ship ship shape and shape up. Yeah, you gotta shape up. One would have to shape up. So you pay that some attention. The best way that you could do that, because I did it when I was younger, right? I would recall what it is that I had went through when I was a baby and when I was younger, and I would utilize what lesson I learned. All right, you was doing this at 16. Yes, I was doing this at 16. It's been happening all my life. Y'all didn't pay attention to the music that I was playing, damn me, over the course of 2 years ago. In short, things don't change. You're supposed to get better with age, not worse. So it's that part. The other part, the other part of it, right, will be about what it is that took. I heard you was teaching at 16 in the church and in the classroom. Yes, they made us do projects where we would have to present it to the classroom and teach the classroom a particular lesson. That's how they anchored what our and did a knowledge check for us. In short, what this is realistically saying is, teachers, your work isn't in vain. You and the fact that teachers don't get paid that much, yeah, it's a disrespect. And part of that I know is coming into place is the fact that they wanted teachers to bring guns into the classroom in some areas. I think that did happen in Texas. They wanted teachers to have guns in the classroom. Now the counter portion of that, right, would be those of us, right, who have encountered students who would have had a gun in their bag. Part one. Part two, what type of gun it is and it would have been. Part three, what measures it was you took to not only secure the weapon but secure the child and secure the family. Because when you are a teacher, a nurse, and a parent, and into any capacity, yeah, it's for the well-being of everyone. And if you know that child doesn't have malicious intent, how you handle it from there versus a child that you know has malicious intent. Columbine, yeah, this will be talking about like that whole situation that would have came into place with Columbine. Now, even in regards to the situation with Columbine, one of the things it was that was being taught for a while, because not everybody's life path is a teacher, right? But some people genuinely just do the shit for the money, right? Uh, but what ended up taking place during Columbine, that was when they first started the mass killings of children, right? And started realistically doing a lot of work on kids and it being noticeable that they're doing work on kids. Now, the little guy was that shot up the whole damn school building, po thing. Yeah, it just happened. It happened a couple years ago, I want to say, at Central VPA. But basically, it's always a bullying situation. In short, you supposed to be in school to fucking learn. You ain't supposed to be in school to be bullying no damn body. And you also not supposed to be getting bullied. You're not to bully and you're not to get bullied. It's okay for a person to set boundaries. If they don't want you to take their fucking lunch money, sit your punk ass down and don't take their lunch money. It might be the person, and typically what I've recognized is the people who get bullied and a lot of shit taken from them, what happens is they would have been that child who wouldn't have mind sharing had they been asked. Part one. Part two, their parents may not have had that much and that's all they have. But because you see them with lunch money, you think that they got more than you. And they could be in a situation and predicament that's similar to you. Or worse off. You don't know what that situation is. Yeah, and sure, in the whole, it's some shit going on Twitter, obviously. But in regards to that, you got to make sure you get not only a healthy understanding of, by the time you get into high school, you should know enough about yourself to know what you do like, what you don't like. And if you need to talk to somebody about things, and I'm talking about a counselor or a therapist, whatever, what have you. Yeah, even in your angry teenager stage, even if you're not that actual age, and you want to talk about those things, you still got to be accountable for it, because even as a child, you made choice that can affect you for the rest of your life. It's the difference between a child who mows lawns and creates a lemonade stand versus the child who lays around and expects for the lemonade stand to be created for them. I hope that makes sense. All right. So paying attention to some of those variant aspects. The other portion of it is in the spiritual portion, some of the things that wouldn't have been discussed, so to speak, would have been about how it is the world would have been created via moon magic, and how one wouldn't celebrate and wouldn't have been a third party, and there would be the walking away within the incompletion of a cycle and an illusion. And in July, what it is that would be. I'm saying July, but I'm hearing the name Julie, but I'm also hearing Uli, Y-O-U, space L-I-E. So there's that portion. All right, so let's kick into this next part. Oh my goodness, I'm in 26 minutes, y'all. Oh my God, my bad, y'all. My bad. And normal. No, you good? Okay. I'm just saying. Yeah, because this don't constitute spending time with me. No, it does not. I said that a long time ago. Everybody thought I was fucking playing, and I'm feeling slicey. In my higher knowing, and in the master teacher, it's short. Yeah, it's the kids that get kicked out of class because they doing too damn much. And if you've ever been put out of class, being put out of class versus being dropped from class. So there's going to be some things it is that will go on in the higher knowing aspect, and what would have been projected in the higher knowing aspect. No, because that's going to be about an instance it is I had. I've always, unfortunately, because I enrolled in higher knowing courses, college courses, after I already had a great deal of experience in life and how to apply it and how to communicate. I personally I had difficulty with relating to my professors, especially the ones that were really judgmental. I had one professor, I want to say I was like 21, when I was at UAPB, and the instructor's name was Cynthia. She had stated that she had just learned and understood and knew how to grasp the English language and how to utilize it. She felt some type of way because the paper that I initially told her about, right, that I would turn in, it was going to be in regards to what happened when my dad left. She said that was really personal and I should rethink it. So I took that instruction and I rethought what it is I wanted to talk about. And I ended up writing a paper on the hall, on one of the history halls at UAPB. She accused me of plagiarism. And it was one of those, no, I didn't plagiarize it. And that was something that was continuous for her. She believed that I was plagiarizing and continuously trying to battle her. Yeah, in short, what would have constituted as the start of some bullshit, basically. And where that happens, now where that correlates more up to date, Bob Green, he was one of my instructors at Grand Canyon University. Yeah, I don't like him connecting to me at all. Which reminds me, because ultimately what would take place is, you're not going to argue with me when I know more than you do about the religion. The course wasn't a course for knowledge checking. The course was a brainwashing to recruit into that particular paradigm of Christianity. I just heard you going no holds bar. It's not about me going necessarily no holds bar. You asked. This is the 33. Yeah, because I knew that he was watching my tarot readings. If he wasn't doing it, somebody else was. I could tell based off of the monies, the way that the money was being donated to me, and they made me sign a paper saying that it's okay for other people to pay on my tuition. And you're not just because you paying on my tuition as the charitable portion, yeah, they would have been better off just giving me the damn money opposed to having me at their fucking school so they can call themselves berating me. They forgot when I got into school, I was damn near 40 years old. I'm not finna sit up here and argue with you when I've given you text to prove my point. It's not about me adhering to what your point is. It's about me speaking the truth and knowing exactly how things connect. That's what you check for when you're a teacher, not whether or not a person can regurgitate the same shit to you that you just said that was bullshit. There's no way you gonna tell me to no capacity that God isn't love. That was what was being taught. So y'all can get that cult shit on some damn work. Anyway, within the knowing more, the devil aspect, it's not my fault they didn't do the necessary research. With the whole devil aspect that'll come into place, you got Capricorn, but the structure, what this is giving is the structure of one's attractiveness in August and being a friend. How it is one would have structured their friendship and walking away from the structure the way that the friendship would have been structured. And what it is to be going to, when one would run away to their friend house is what that's really going to be about. And the indecision that would have come into for some, the indecision or how it is one would be stuck in this coming in to make an offer. And there being 2 days of an offer that will come in. And the Virgo aspect, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, and the differences, right, that will come into place with one making okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this out here because I know this does happen. It was a couple different times that I know it happened to me. Okay, I like to do this, right, with the whole lyrics thing, right, write out the song, and I know for a fact there was a couple people who wrote out the poems it is that I performed. Yeah, and they was trying to mix what I put in there and add their own little stuff too. It's my poem, so you're not gonna be it don't matter how many different ways it is you try and put it or do a cover of it. Yeah, you out of order. You just out of order. It's not your words. That's part one. Part two. When a person would know that there's a particular oh shit, you caught on. Yeah, of course I'm gonna fucking catch on. I'm not stupid. In any event, the other part of it is when you dealing with a person who writes a song with a particular individual in mind, and then you have other people who know who that person is that's in mind, and they're giving instructions on and they take it as instructions as to what to do with that person, opposed to it being. In any event, I just heard shit. I'm telling the fucking secret. Yeah, you are telling the secrets. I told that Virgo aspect, that angry princess, I have a motherfucker talking entirely too damn much and not anchoring out a damn thing. That's why that shit constitutes as fucking delusional. I don't know who energy this is, but I definitely didn't. Yeah, I had to regulate my system today. So whoever it is, they pissed. Whatever it is, it's pissed. You might not want to fuck with it. I'm just saying. You did something to it. You did something to it. Leave it the fuck alone. And then there being love over the course of 2 months. And some of this stuff is going to be about what it is that would have taken place in February. And there being a passionate new beginning in February. And some candle magic that would have been done in regards to one being able to come in and apologize. And there be intimacy and also the whole Pisces portion. So in short, the biggest thing that one would need to focus on, because everybody always wants to deal with the hero era shit, But if you're in that Virgo essence and you haven't applied wisdom, then you'll fall more so into the Piscean, quote unquote, Piscean villain aspect. Hell, you could, when you were in the Virgo essence as a young adult, you could come off as a fucking villain because you don't want to participate in the same shit that everybody else do. For me, and yeah, in that regard, it was a big old hoopla at one point because I stated that I was working and doing all this other shit during my high school years because these motherfuckers was able to go play at the tilt and be kids. I wasn't able to be a fucking kid. And sure, when you've been an adult for a really long time, and the other person, yeah, hasn't been an adult for a long time and didn't go through the process of healing as they matured or as they got older. They wanted to wait to do it. And part of that is, I know, oh my goodness, what my mom said is coming to me so much. If you can wait until a man is 40 years old, by 40, listen to what I'm telling you, okay? This is what makes y'all look so horrible and where y'all need to, get y'all shit together. You have to wait as a woman. You have to wait until a man is 40 years old before he completely gets his shit together. But you are dating and you have men coming at you from, as you all say, as long as she can cross the street, she can get hit. And it's justified with having these really young, 20-year-old some odd girls with these 50-year-old ass men. And then there's that's the discrepancy that comes into place because as a woman, you're taught that that man is supposed to take care of you. So if you really want to be taken care of, you only got two options. You either do it for yourself or you get someone who's older. That's the dynamic that is being questioned, so to speak, within older women going or actually being happier and finding some sort of solace with younger men because older men realistically be on fuckboy shit. You got to pay attention to, the different dynamics that were taught to men and women and how you didn't get the same lessons. Yeah, but you won't and expect the same results. See, back in the day, silent generation, everybody got the same lessons on courting and dating. When the internet came into place, it's like you have a different relationship with the person that you on the internet with versus you having a different relationship with the person that's right in front of your face versus you having a different relationship with the person that will be at school versus at church versus at home. That's where you get I'm hearing, I need an around the way girl. Yeah, around the way girl. And a combination of how everything comes together. So there's that portion. Next. I'm hearing something about surprises. Yeah, if a person tell you don't surprise them, follow that direction. That's not too, you know what? Yeah, because that's that my way or the highway bullshit. So no, stop with all that surprising shit. Because surprises don't always be good. And even if you're trying to restructure how a person views it so that they could view it the way that you do, you have to ease a person into that. And it's not only about the traumatic aspect, but also the dramatics of it. And it's also about what it is one would compare and contrast. In short, y'all, a lot of men like to believe that the lesson, and women, right? Masculine essence is what I'll say in the doing aspect. A lot of people like to think that they did everything right with their ex, but there could have been some things that would have been fine tuned. And part one. Part two, when it comes to dealing with a new person, you release the old baggage from the old person. And sure, if you're not really fucking with that person like that, or you haven't been fucking with that person like that, I don't give a fuck how much spell work it is that they would do. You don't need to be thinking about that person whenever you look at the new person. In short, you treating motherfuckers like rebounds. And I'll be damned if I be a fucking rebound. You're not gonna blame me for some shit that somebody else fucking did to you when I was nowhere the fuck around and I'm trying to fix it. And you fucking with me and you picking at me because I'm trying to fix some shit. Most people, right, need a person to love and appreciate them when they are fixing themselves. When you're an adult, you don't need nobody to quote unquote fix you. You're not a fucking animal. You're not a pet. Yeah, because what it's giving is that I'll fix you. It's one of those, but I wasn't broken. So what the fuck you need to fix? That's some shit, some inner shit that you would have to worry about. All right. So it said, let's see what we got with this, and then okay. So we got family room, false person, privileged lady, and it being a change. Anything else? Yeah, in short, how a person would intentionally get it wrong and they're being disparaged. The false person within being a privileged lady, they're being disparaged in an unexpected income for a message, for a gift, right? Okay, the message for a journey, the unexpected income of the message of a journey, of the message of a journey, and it being a gift. Now, because some of it that is given is how a person would do something for somebody else to take trips. Okay, in a business aspect, this is something that's common. That's called, yeah, not only is that called reciprocation, but it's called reimbursement. It also gives a good idea set of what happens when on the spiritual aspect. Yeah, because you'll get people who do spirit work and shit like that, but they don't discuss it in real life. In real life and in real time. That's why I be sneaky and it be robbery and shit. Like, for instance, yeah, the with the what it is that just took place, I could utilize that as an example. Me, I was responding to what it was the first time I went down to Atlanta. I was responding to what it is that somebody called themselves doing spell work on me. This was before I canceled the contracts it is that I have with Lions International Club and the Lions Judah Club and the Eastern Stars. This is before I did that. I noticed once I got down to Atlanta, the first people it was I started seeing was a whole bunch of little young cats with a little lion head on and all this other shit. And it's one of those, I'm not coming down and committing to the illusion for black men build. And so that you motherfuckers could follow me from St. Louis to motherfucking Atlanta. In short, when you're being followed nationwide, opposed to when you're globally, okay? When you're being followed globally, opposed to just locally. And that information isn't provided to you. And it's a lot in a spiritual aspect about a person being reimbursed for showing their face in another space. But you want to utilize the unhoused people, right? In order for you to be able to get your point across. But you ain't got balls enough to do it your damn self. In short, you can't face me. You already put up the barrier. But then you want to turn around and try and play spiritual games and shit. Male or woman, it don't matter. Don't play those types of games with people because you don't know what you're dealing with and you don't know who you're dealing with. And typically, if you're on any type of spiritual journey, you realistically trying to figure out not only your next point of contact, but you're also trying to make sure that your mind and your body is regulated while you do it so that you could stay calm. And when you're dealing with, oh my goodness, I don't know who this is. But when you're dealing with messy bitches, it comes into place that they'll get fucked up a whole lot more because you just doing your damn job. You just doing your job on this earth. Damn, in that location, you doing your job on this earth. That's the difference between an individual that would know what their worldview is and what their position in the galaxy is versus what their position in a locality is. And yeah, and the disrespect that comes into place with it. In short, whatever elders y'all will have problems with, everybody ain't that elder that did it to you. And when you make that an equivalent of it being this other individual, that's where you fuck up at. Especially when you're dealing with a self-starter and you would be constituted as codependent. 44 when I said that. Yeah, if you know to do certain things, right off the bat without someone having to tell you to do it, i.e., yeah, it realistically it'll be about the shedding of those types of codependencies, so that one would be able to better adjust to what will be going on with their day to day. Oh, yay, the sun came out. All right, so I'm gonna get some animal cards, y'all. Humpback whale, singer, is the overall essence. So I'm gonna read these animal messages. Then I'm going to do a summary, and we're gonna close this out. All right. So we got the fox, clever, wolf, pathfinder. Yeah, this is a lot of what constitutes as tarot Pisces essence. Yeah, don't get it. And the shamanistic aspect, it's not only going to be about the shamanistic aspect or the grandfather principles, but it's also going to link with year of the dog in Chinese. Yeah, in short, find words relevant to, with, and for you. The raven, and the being a shaman. Okay, it's aligning. Yeah, and what it is to be a shaman opposed to being just and not being a crow, being a raven, right? That's all. It's all a part of the corvid family, and what it is you need to pay attention to. Yeah, because not ravens, crows most certainly do it. I'm pretty sure because they're a part of the same family that they link up. But crows teach their children to hate the same people. Again, the intelligence that comes into place with a particular type of animal. All right, so it's that part. And if you have multiple spirit animals that you can consult and consort with, so it's that part. But we have fox, clever, wolf, pathfinder, raven, shaman, and the heron, patience. All right, I'm gonna read this real quick. You are swift and smart. Solutions to problems are easily found. Always listen to your instincts. Resources around you, and be open to romance. Wolf Pathfinder, release your past and start a new journey. You are a teacher and help others find their way. There will be challenges, but your soul is strong. Perseverance is your secret power. You have a love that endures. Raven and Shaman, you are the creator and magician. Use your gifts for good. There is power in your wisdom and words. Connect with the elemental spirits and glide through the void. Claim your place as keeper of the mysteries. Heron and patience. Create a place in nature's stillness and be renewed. Take time alone to find balance. Step confidently towards your purpose. Patience will bring you rewards. This is going to be about the whole journey aspect. One of the things it is that's coming in, this is it, what is given is a deeper meaning. If you've ever watched any of the other readings, or even if you have the cards for the void, for the journey of love oracle deck, the void in the universe realistically is the place where everything gets released, right? You literally release everything, everybody, and you just allow whatever to funnel and flow through you that you want to flow through you. The problem that comes into place is when people want, when how it is they would invoke feeling or respond to feeling, right? And for me, right, I don't know about any other intuitives. If you ask me how I feel about a situation, that's not always a quick response to that particular question, because I heard you always getting downloads. Because exactly. Now, if you want to know what my perspective on a situation is, that's a little bit different, because it may not align with quote unquote how I feel about the situation. That's why, that's where that whole Saturn aspect and what it is that one would attract within, within there being an abundance of emotion and what constitutes as quote unquote friendships, right? Saturn don't give a fuck about how you feel. I'm saying this to y'all, but trust me, I say it to myself just the same. It don't matter how you feel about the situation. You have to do it any damn way. All right? So it's that part. Then, I forgot. We got to do this last little part. What it is that will be clearing out in regards to it. Yep, the different obsessions. I knew it. The different obsessions that will come within one not looking inside themselves, with one not looking inside themselves, and not being a priestess. Not being a priestess, not being a high priestess. That's part of it. Yeah, and the other one for me, what it is that goes on with one not being a divine feminine. I heard in Why It Is, people can always read everything around you, but they can't read you. Basically, that's not your business. It don't be people business. It really, really don't. You'll be amazed. You will be amazed. Now, in the alchemical aspect of what it is that will be going on, it'll be about determining what the ambitions would be, or yeah, what the ambitions would be in regards to one looking inside themselves and being a high priestess. Yeah, in short, yeah, part of it is, and even, yeah, whether it be past life, current life, it doesn't matter. Yeah, because if you tripping off of what would have gone on in your past life and you ain't even settled yourself in your current life, yeah, you gotta settle yourself in your current shit first. And then there being a recognition of one's wishes not being fulfilled. Yep, and the recognitions it was that would have taken place in September inside of one's mind, and one not communicating, and there being a passion new beginning. Yeah, some candle magic that would have been done in regards to that. All right. So, in regards to it, to summarize, what it is you want to pay attention to is that it's not about the celebration. Ultimately, what I'm getting from this, it's not going to be about the celebrations and all that. Yeah, because the shit ain't even fucking anchored yet. You're not taking the steps the right way. You're doing the shit the way somebody else wanted that shit done, opposed to the way whoever it is, yeah, you would be dealing with want it done. Yeah, doing too much. They're doing entirely too fucking much, and setting a precedent to repeat the exact same shit you would have came out of. That's not smart. And then there being the knowing that there's an apology required, an apology, and there being the intimacy and friendship and what it is that would have been nurtured as a gift being given and received, within singing being something that's healing, right? And being the humpback whale, the orca. It's given how Dory, she wasn't able to find her way home, quote unquote, so to speak. But even within her going on that journey to get back home, her parents knew what her situation was. Her parents knew what her situation was, and they accommodated it to make it easier for her to trigger her memory, to let her know when she was close. So it's that part. Yeah, but they left rocks and shit. Now, if you think that it's going to be a smart idea, yeah, it's the same thing with Hansel and Gretel and all that other stuff, right? The whole breadcrumb aspect. But in the breadcrumbing aspect, you see how long it took, because they didn't go outside of their space to make sure that she knew where to go. And they led her directly to the fucking house. They didn't lead her to just a fucking space. Now, in regards to that, right, humpback whale singer. Sing healing songs for the world. Your inner navigation always guides you. Nothing can stop you or keep you from your goal. Align with your purpose and the power in your soul. And that being the unconditional aspect that comes with a passion and new beginning. Yeah, overall, to summarize, what I'm getting from this is when you know you out of balance, and when I say out of balance, I'm not talking about the money aspect. I'm talking about you as an individual. And it's really difficult for you to maintain balance. There are certain things that you need to anchor to ensure what it is that will go on. The whole destiny swapping situation. I don't give a fuck about the destiny swapping situations that come into place. That's your damn problem. You speaking into existence a destiny swap when you should be trying to anchor the destiny is you already have. In totality. If you don't even have control over what you got going on already, it makes it really difficult for somebody else to help you with that situation, because you don't even know what you want. Yeah, motherfucker being indecisive. And what it is that would throw them into indecision is pretty much what I'm getting from that. And for me, right? As an example, I will be indecisive as fuck about what I want to wear that day, but I know exactly what I'm going to do within that day and exactly what it is I want to get done within that day. It's giving it whole, yeah, when people say a person is a free spirit, they don't expect for the spirit to have a particular structure that it governs itself by. It's considered a free spirit because it knows how to make its own choices, and it understands and realizes what its path is without anyone having to tell it. Yeah, it's the soul recognition. And within the whole soul recognition, and y'all people like playing, yeah, the whole matchmaker situation it was that y'all had going on, and how you gonna call yourself matching somebody with somebody who don't, yeah, matching somebody high vibrational with somebody who don't even want to wash their ass, who don't even want to take care of themselves, and then you get mad when they know how to align themselves with people who do know how to do that. I'm not talking about just on a romantic aspect. I'm talking about period. Y'all do too much. Yeah, people who be playing God and don't even and who are atheists. People who play God who are atheists. All right, so I'm gonna close that out because I'm gonna need to get out of this energy. Yeah, I really do. But we're gonna close and seal this seal and lock in this reading. Whenever you fall on it, it'll be relevant to whatever it is you have going on in that moment, right? Pay attention to the actual stories that are being told because they would reflect different things that would be going on to and with you in your personal situations, right? And it's realistically just the depiction and the storytelling aspect so that there can be relatability of understanding that your anger is the part that would love you the most, right? So if you get angry about something, anger management is something that you need to pay attention to, right? All right, so we're going to close and seal and lock this reading. I hope everybody has a great day. Happy Sunday. Happy self-care Sunday fun day. All right. Because see, remember, light work, it ain't light work. It is not light work. It's not light work. And that's why you have to stay light while you work.